Two. Check. Hello. 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 What's up? What's up, folks? Hello. What's up, friends? I'm gonna crack this open right away. I need it. If you got an energy drink, if you got a diet soda, a regular soda, water, fizzy water, tap water, plain water, whatever, juice box, Capri Sun, whatever beverage you have, sip them if you got them. Okay, let's finish this week out strong. Chin chin. Okay. Okay. I have a stomach bug, or maybe I'm drinking at least 12 flavored fizzy waters per day. No, I think that's totally okay to do. I think that's fine to do. Coffee, yeah, sure. Whatever you got. Whatever you got. Lodane, you got any rains? You got any energy drinks? Eating pizza, no beverages. Okay, Alana, that's bold. Usually you need the beverage with the pizza. I have a gummy bear, very nice. And he's got some tea, very good. Also Polar. You know, I don't think we have Polar here in Canada. I've seen a couple of these Polars, these like Polar fizzy waters. So I think they have some pretty good flavors. I don't believe we can get them here, at least not here in Montreal. I've been drinking the bubblies. The bubbly kind. Those are pretty good. I don't know though. I'd like to expand my horizons. I'd like to expand my flavored fizzy water horizons. Hello. Time for some whiz biz. Hello. Canada Dry is the only drink that exists in Canada. That's correct. Yeah. That is correct. This is just, I just have one of these cans and the Canada Dry just comes out of the tap and I just fill it up with that. Hello, Sean. You're sounding a bit better. Thank you, Sean. I feel almost normal. Almost back to normal. I woke up today. I actually went for a little stroll, went to the coffee shop, got an iced coffee and a pastry. Was able to kind of leave and walk around for the first time in a little over a week. That was nice. You kind of appreciate that a little bit more when you've been locked up. I mean, normally I like being kind of an agoraphobe and locking myself up. So when it's against your will, though, then it's not as pleasant. You know what I mean? I don't mind staying inside for an entire week. I'm totally fine with that. But when you don't have the option to just leave, it's less good. You know? Did you have the COVID? Yes, I did. I've been talking about it this week. I'm just getting over it. I feel probably more normal today than I have in a while. So that's good. You always have the option to leave and spread it about. Well, I do know that. I know that all too well, frankly. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you, Cutman. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for supporting me and tuning in this week and the words of encouragement, all that stuff. It's been very much appreciated. So you did not get on a plane or go to a concert with COVID. No, I did not. I mean, Carrier, Even if I had wanted to, I physically could not. You know, I guess it affects different people differently. Some people are able to be up and about sooner. I don't know, maybe with this new variant it's different, but even if I had wanted to just go and spread it around, I just would not have been able to, because I was just first completely incapacitated and then just like miserable and nauseous the whole time. So it's like the last thing I would want to do is go stand in a fucking concert. Hello, Red Scary. Welcome. Did you lose your sense of smell or taste? Not really. Not really. Maybe a little bit, but not like noticeably. Well, we're averaging a new variant every 2 months, so buckle up. One thing I did read today, and I don't know how much of truth this is that this current wave that we're just in right now, the actual numbers of infections are as high as they've ever been, but I do think that the rate of people dying from COVID has gone down, which is, I guess, a good sign. I still think it's extremely unpleasant to have COVID, and if it hasn't gone down to 0, that means it's still quite dangerous. So I don't think that's something that we should all just be like celebrating, like, oh, it's finished. You know, it's like, regardless of whether or not you die, it still is not fun or cool to have. So, I guess it is a good sign that it's leading to less people actually dying. Although, again, not 0, which is still like a large number of people. And yeah, Carrier Wave, are you showing me something that completely refutes what I'm saying? We cannot live on 15,000 deaths a week. That still seems fairly high. Oh, that's globally, okay. Which is still, again, it's still a lot. In Canada, 263 people died from COVID-19 between July 31st to August 6th. Still a lot of people dying, folks. Still a lot of people dying here. Seems still kind of bad. That's right, Eric. Still seems, and again, like I was saying, like, even if you don't die, it's still not good, cool, or good to have COVID. And I would recommend still trying to avoid that. Just a couple hundo a week. There we go. Yeah, no problem. No problem. What's the line from Doctor Strangelove? We might get our hair mussed. You know? I'm willing to live with those numbers. I'm not saying we won't, sir. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, now we're going into energy crisis winter, of course. No more than 10 to 20 million, depending on the breaks. Right-wingers are like, COVID will only kill 1% of the world population. And I'm like, 1% of nearly 8 billion people is a lot of people. Exactly. Yes, it is. Yes, it certainly it is. Energy crisis winter is the logical endpoint of hot girl summer. Exactly. And we still haven't even recovered from white boy summer, so... Think about that. So how's everyone doing? How's it going? Maybe today we can even talk about, like, the news and stuff. How about that? Wouldn't that be crazy? Maybe today we can even talk about stuff that's happening in the news. and all that business. Hey Matt, what's up? On the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe in the UK as nobody can afford to pay their bills. Well, fortunately, Liz Truss is going to really get in there and improve that whole situation. Yep. So I think the UK should be A-okay because Sam, you just hate to see a girl boss winning, I think. You just hate to see a girl boss winning. Liz Truss is going to put on her pantsuit and roll up the sleeves and fix all that stuff. So, should be no problem. Kamala Cheney 24 could be the presidential ticket to lose every single state. It could be the presidential ticket to somehow lose California. It's historic. It's historic. That's how historic it is. You know, you want history or her story? Thank you. Her story. They will lose every single state. The historic presidential ticket. The first historic presidential ticket to do that. Liz Truss, Liz Cheney, World Domination 24. There we go. There we go. Everything's going great. Everything's just going fantastic. Well, we're building when you subscribe to this channel, which obviously equals one socialism, we're building towards communism. Mel's, that's the end game, okay? This is TRRS end game. That's where we're headed. So far, zero socialism. Not great. Not great. We will get there. You get full communism at 35. That's right. That's absolutely correct. And I did change the title. I saw when the stream posted, the title was the same as yesterday because I tried to put STFU Friday because obviously it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday today. I tried to put that in the title and the Twitch terms of service silenced me. I was silenced and censored from having a STFU Friday title.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you for the gifted sub, Sam. This man believes in socialism. And we're building my productive forces. Shut the fuck up Friday, folks. That classic day. The classic day that we all love.
Friday, so review the script. What he's and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, so review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
I'm not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the fifth.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up Friday. Never answer questions when the cops ask.
Have safe holidays.
Tip of the day. And it's Shut the Fuck Up.
I don't know what this guy's look is. It's like he's like a steam. It's kind of like a steampunk.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Slightly Tethered. 10 months of Prime. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. 10 months of Bezos bucks from Slightly Tethered. Thank you. Yeah, it's like a steampunk barrister thing. Steampunk, and also if Roger Stone had a cool brother that wasn't evil. Did you see the other little viral lawyer tweet yesterday? Yes, I did, but we should probably check that out as well.
Now,
I gotta say, I love these sleazy, swagged out lawyers. They're just cool as hell. I must admit. Look at this guy's hair. That's just cool. That's a cool look. And then you see the rings as well.
Now, can the police legally lie to you? Yes, they can say almost anything to you in an attempt to get a confession. We have your fingerprint. Now, if they did, they would have already charged you. We're able to get a warrant for your home. Now, if they could, they already would have. We have an accomplice in the other room that's told us everything. Now, if they did, they wouldn't need your confession. Now, talking to the police, even though you know you're innocent, can only lead to disaster. Hey,
don't talk to him.
Remember, you'll hear them say, Kev's got you covered.
Don't talk to him. Don't talk to the cops. They can legally lie to you. Don't talk to them. Don't say a fucking word. Shut the fuck up. If you're ever in this position, we all need to understand this. We all need to internalize this. Yeah, loading the ring loadout. I know. What is this, like an Indianapolis Colts championship ring? Like, what is that? That's what it looks like. They look like sports championship rings. Why does his skin look like microwave plastic? I don't know. I think it's normal and cool to look like that. Dog, look at my lawyer. I'm getting out of jail. Exactly. He looks like he robbed Tom Brady. He won so many cases that give him rings. This man will, like, I would trust this man with my life. You know? I would trust this man with my life. Oh, sorry, I've got the music playing. I know sometimes people like the music because it's when, like, I stop talking, doesn't have just, like, dead air. But then I forget that it's playing sometimes, then I'm putting on something that's interfering. Need a lawyer who fucking hates cops. Exactly. Folks, the cops are lying to you. They can legally lie to you. You do the Neo in the Matrix. That sounds like a pretty good deal. Well, I've got a better one. How about I give you the finger and you give me my phone call? That's the only thing you should say. Not even that is pushing it. Even that is pushing it. You want your ring loadout to crunch when you make hand gestures. The World Lawyer Championships 94 to 96 three-peat. Just checking in, how are you feeling? I'm kind of feeling a little bit normal. I'm starting to feel a little bit normal. I feel a little bit, I'm coughing a little bit, little small amount of nausea still, but like mostly normal. I'll take it after the last week. I'll take it. Are you going to ask me how I am? Yes, I was just about to do that, Gabby. I was just about to do that. How are you doing? How are you doing, Gabby?
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Hi.
Hello, Heroic Skeleton. 5 months of Prime. Thank you very much, Heroic Skeleton, for the Prime sub. Very much appreciated. Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. Happy to hear it, Gabby. Happy to hear it. If the police ask you a question, don't say anything. Just rotate at increasing speeds and let a low frequency hum till they begin to resonate and explode. Just like in scanners. Can I ask a question? I suppose so. Sure. Why not? Are you mad at me? Gabby, I'm not sure who you are, so I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. No, I'm not mad at you or anyone else in the chat. So you can all stand down, okay? No one's mad at anyone. Little mad at Eric. Let me amend my statement. I'm a little bit mad at Eric from Big Shiny Takes. Only a little. Okay, it's not even that big of a deal. I've got some lingering resentment, but that's all. That barely even qualifies as being mad. So, are you mad at your old pal from high school, Fat Pussy? Obviously not. My best, everyone knows this about me, my best friend from high school. Everyone knows this. I could never be mad. I could never be mad at my good friend, Fat Pussy. I don't know what I did, but I feel awful about this. I think you do know what you did, Eric. We don't need to litigate that right now. Okay? We don't need to litigate that in public. That's not what this show is about. So this show is the no beef zone. No beef. Okay? Everyone knows this about me. I go to my way to avoid getting in beefs. I hate beefs. Sometimes the beefs come to me and I can't prevent that. I can't stop that. But I'm always trying to avoid the beefs. These are the areas he practices in. The ring loadout lawyer. Divorce, interstate custody, disputes, child support, personal injury, criminal law, military law, civil litigation. Seriously, why should he choose? If you have a lawyer that can do all those things, like, don't you want that? Isn't that better? Beefs. No, please. We need internet drama. My days of starting internet drama are behind. Believe me, there's some people that I would like to have beefs with. There's certainly people that I don't really like all that much. And people that say things online that I find silly and ridiculous. And sometimes I talk about these stances or takes on here. Maybe it would even be good for the viewership of this very program to start more of these beefs. I'm all about projecting goodness and kindness into the world, though. Okay, Gabby, go ahead. Yeah. Everyone knows this about me. I project goodness and kindness. I'm trying to build my Twitter following. Can you RT one of my tweets? We'll see. I don't know. I can't guarantee that, Gabby. It kind of depends on the tweet. And you know, when you open a door to people asking if you can retweet tweets, then all of a sudden you've given people implicit permission to ask the same question, which becomes tricky, you know? Hey, what's up, comrade social distancing? The level of mass hysteria and Cold War fear-mongering in the EU has reached the level where France is worried its army would only last weeks against the Russians, who to attack France would have to declare war on NATO and invade Poland, Germany, Holland, and Belgium to get to France. Yeah, that doesn't seem like something that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Hey, Lizard, thanks for the raid. Get in here, raiders. Hello. Welcome. Get in here. I appreciate that, Lizard. Thank you for that. There we go. Now Shut the Fuck Friday is really like getting off on the right foot here. No, we were talking about like energy crisis winter though, like with all the Cold War hysteria and the anti-Russia stuff. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to Germany this winter. We're already seeing energy prices just soaring in the UK. It's going to be pretty amazing to see how the response to that should be. I don't know how, like... I heard this is the Rob who supports women. That is correct. That's absolutely correct. Not just Germany, the whole EU. The entire EU is fucked. Poland too, most of Europe.
Use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
You got to wonder how much... I know that the move is going to be to just increase hostility and tensions and try to saber rattle more and blame Russia more, but you got to wonder how much appetite there's going to be for that. Thank you, Risk Inverse, for the 200 friend coin. Thank you. I appreciate that, Risk Inverse. If you backed the wrong horse. Well, yeah, it's amazing that like they're not being rewarded for just unequivocally backing NATO in the United States. I couldn't believe that didn't work out for them. You'd think that America, the wealthiest country in the world, who's been kind of insulated from a lot of this fallout, would, back up the countries that have like shot themselves in their own feet in order to back up their sort of proxy war. You'd think America would have their back, but lo and behold, it seems like these countries are just being left to go and fucking float away on their own. Energy costs are going up in Germany. We're receiving warnings. Big impact on consumer price index. Yeah, and I saw that what they were like, they were turning off. Russia's turning off the other natural gas flow to Germany, being like, oh yeah, we got to test that out. We got to like do some updates or whatever on that. Sorry. And now Germany's like, we need to arm ourselves more. We need to reassert ourselves more militarily. And it's like, I remember the last time Germany asserted itself militarily, and it was not good. It was not a good situation. We need to upgrade our firmware. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, Germany. Do they need weapons? We got weapons they can have, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, they got no shortage of that. We can't help you out with the energy prices, but we'll definitely like help rearm you. Germans tripling their defense budget. No, that's not great. That's not good. Historically, I don't know if any of you are history buffs. Germany needs to take its rightful place, asserting its dominance over Europe. This has never been attempted before in history. Nothing could go wrong. Should be no problem. So everything's going very smoothly. Germany, the most rapidly militarizing country. When have we seen this before? In the face of this Russian hostility as well. Does Germany have a sordid past? I don't know. I think they're just into like, what are those, Lederhosen? And getting those big beer steins and the Lederhosen. I haven't looked into too much of it beyond that. I think it's pretty innocent, though. That's why the energy costs are going up. All the state funding is going towards more Lederhosen and beer steins. Rob Rousseau, my life sucks because I'm heartbroken and no one knows my pain. I'm like a 21st century vampire, but at least I can use the emotions and the depths of feeling for my art. My art is my life. Remember, love backwards is evol. Even with all the money and fame I got from my music and my rap, went from YouTube to movie screens and school news to magazines. My life is still the same. I'm like Kurt Cobain. Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Broken, sad boy, underworld. Very sorry to hear that. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for that. I hope good luck with all that, you know? Good luck with all that. I haven't been right in my spirit since I learned the first synthetic opioid was made by IG Farben, the maker of the gas that they used in the camps to kill Jews. Probably nothing. It's probably nothing, though. Got some interesting stuff. Interesting stuff going on in the chat today so far. Very fascinating. Some people not obviously following the clear directions of the stream title. We like to have fun. It's just, we're just chatting. So I guess people are, as much as I've leaned on the STFU Friday thing, I guess being in the just chatting section does kind of invite that, doesn't it? We are just chatting after all. Boy toy named Troy used to live in Detroit. Big dope dealer money. He was getting some coin. Was in shootouts with the law, but he lived in a palace. Bought me Alexander McQueen, but he was keeping me stylish. Thank you, Ghost. We got bars in the chat today. People are spitting rhymes. Is that what you call that? Hey Rob, let me know when you want to go emotes only chat mode. I know we planned it earlier, but you didn't tell me to cut them off from their precious Discord. Okay, I'll give you the signal. The MK Ultra emote only chat signal. Someone needs to put a stop to the French, German, Italy, and Britain are too dangerous to exist. I mean, how many chances are we going to give them? You know? How many chances do they get? And frankly, I think the Germans especially. Like, I know they were saying it's a false flag. We need to be worried about the French. The Germans have just had it too good for too long here. You know? I think we've let the Germans kind of come back a little too quickly from some certain historical incidents. You know? I think we got to start getting a little tougher here. Talking about Fanta and Germany, Germans love to mix drinks. You can't believe beer Fanta mix is a very popular drink. It's kind of interesting. That doesn't sound that appealing, Lamport, but I'll bet like a nice wheat beer mixed with maybe, I wouldn't say a half, but maybe with a small amount of like fruity soda. That would actually probably be pretty good. Like not certainly definitely not half, but like a nice wheat beer with like an orange soda or even like a ginger ale. Or like a Fresca. I do enjoy fruity, sugary beers. Yeah, they mix wheat beer with Fanta, and the drink is called Radler. Well, I think Radler isn't Radler just like grapefruit juice? which I really enjoy a radler. I love a nice radler on a hot summer day, ice cold radler, or a shandy. I'll also do a shandy. I'll happily enjoy a nice shandy. After the stunning success of Milk Coke, I've become less skeptical of drink mixing. Did we try that? Red Scary? I didn't hear about this. I'm not sold on Milk Coke, but I understand like it's kind of the same principle of the float, the Coke float, and having a little bit of like a creaminess to it. I don't know if I would just like voluntarily have that, but I think it's probably all right. A recent week. So has there been like a Milk Coke movement in the Discord or something that I haven't heard about? Wait until you're 100% recovered from COVID. You must have a Milk Coke. Okay. Wow. Does Milk Coke work with skim milk and Diet Coke? The only Coke and milk in my fridge right now. I'm going to say no. That sounds really not good. That sounds really not ideal to me. Bolden has led the Milk Coke revolution last fall, winter. Maybe I got to pay more attention to what's going on in that Discord server there.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Oh my goodness. Huggles. Folks, welcome Huggles. Brand new community member. Thank you for the Prime sub, Huggles. I appreciate that. Look at that. Brand new community member. Very exciting. Thank you, Huggles. Huggles tuned in for the beverage and Milk Coke discourse, and they were like, sign me up. This is great. This is great. This is something that I want to contribute to financially. The Milk Coke talk is what landed them. You never know what's going to do it. You know? Rob should not pay attention to his Discord because he's entirely safe and we would never be openly plotting a coup in there. Now, I know no chatters in this community or the Discord server would ever plot to coup me and remove me from the position that I have of being the why don't you call it leader? You want to call it the big boss? I don't know. I don't know what words you would use, you know? Obviously, no one would ever do that, though. So I'm not worried about it. The overseer, whatever you want to call it. I would say it's Scary's Discord now, and Goro is the new vice president. So I do post in the Discord server. I would say every day. I will admit that maybe some of the channels have become a little bit overwhelming me to keep up on all the stuff that's going on all the time. Okay, I admit that. I haven't forgotten about the Discord server. I'm still there. I'm still there every day. And in fact, if you're just watching the stream, if you're not in the Discord server, I would recommend you join that. Huggles or whoever else, join the Discord server. There is no new Rob. Okay, it's still the TRRS Discord server. Of course, many community members highly valued there, which is absolutely true. I don't think anyone should be getting any ideas about any usurping me or replacing. TOR, like Rob's hat, the original Rousseau. That's what that stands for, Esker. That's right. Thank you, Risk Inverse. Thank you. I mean, we're talking about Shut the Fuck Up Friday and not talking to the cops. If you see the channel, hashtag not for Rob, just make sure not to mention it to Rob, please. And welcome to the Robsistance. That's not a real channel. That's not a real channel in the Discord server. Perhaps this streamer cross promotion is bringing in new valued community members. I did see that our friend Kira Chats was wearing official TRRS merch today, which I appreciate. And she looks good in it, frankly. If you don't mind, if no one minds me saying so. So perhaps that is what's going on here. You want to join the Discord because we are reading Mao for Theory Book Club in like 2 weeks. And I honestly do recommend that everyone joins the Discord specifically for those theory reading book club events led by Red Scary. I do highly recommend that people join those. It was funny because I was talking about my streamer beef and you know, not wanting to have beef, but I was noticing a prominent radlib streamer the other day talking about Mao and about Mao's like how his writing is just like too simple. Did anyone see that? I love when fucking dipshit loser streamers, not me obviously, and not anyone that streams in this community, dipshit loser streamers in the West are like, I don't know about that Mao guy. He's literally writing trying to like have illiterate peasants understand socialism and understand these concepts. And you have these fucking West American losers in 2022 being like, it's so simplistic. No, that was not a fake tweet. I'm talking about a prominent radlib pro-imperialist anti-Korea activist who is saying this. Communism is when confusing. That's right. The more confusing it is, the more communism it is. I hate when instructions are simplistic. Exactly. It's better when it's incomprehensible, jargony, academic bullshit. I hate when things are understandable. Exactly. It's way better when it's just pseudo-academic, masturbatory nonsense. The CIA brainwashing has told me all I need to know about godless socialism. People who say things like their writing is too easy to understand are broadcasting insecurity about their intelligence.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Did I? Risk Inverse, I really appreciate the gifted sub. Thank you. But don't forget that these same radlibs say stupid things like you don't need to actually read theory to understand. Well, to be certain, to be clear, this specific individual, I fucking guarantee, has not taken the time to read Mao or any other socialist theorist, but is only reacting to out of context snippets that they see on Twitter or whatever. But they don't read it because it's too simple. That's why. Hey, bro, I never knew you were on Twitch. It's amazing after 2 years I still get these comments. But thank you, Gary the Snail.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Gary.
I'm new here, but I just wanted to say keep it up. You're doing great.
I do try to tweet about the fact that I'm on Twitch, but Twitter silences and censors me. My tweets. So I'm happy you could join us, Gary. Thank you for your kind words. And thank you, Lizard, for the 6 months of Tier 1. I really appreciate that. And for the raid. Thank you. And the same individual that I'm referring to, actually, was also going off. They were going on this like multi-day long fucking meltdown of repeatedly harassing this harassing this like this female Korean Twitter user for multiple days. And I also love that the fixating on China thing. And they were a Ukraine flag in bio. They were a prominent Ukraine flag bio and Ukraine supporter and propagandist, and now has switched to the Taiwan flag in bio. This specific individual that I'm referring to, the Ukraine flag to Taiwan flag pipeline. That's right. I support the current thing. That's right. And they were going off about China and socialism with Chinese characteristics, and just laughing at the idea of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and saying like they have markets. That's funny. You know what I think China should have done in like the late 70s? They should have simply grown their economy and their productive forces to the point that they're a global superpower, able to provide a decent standard of living to 1.4 billion people, under the constant watch and the constant threat of imperialist destruction and takeover. They should have simply grown their economy that way just by pressing the socialism button. And I'm sure that these absolute loser streamers in the West would have just done a really great job if they had been in charge. If they had been put in charge, they would have simply provided a decent standard of living to 1.4 billion people after being like semi-colonized, after suffering massive losses of over 20 million people in World War II and the preceding Civil War. They would have simply taken over the country, which is just a completely dirt poor, impoverished country. Again, 1.4 billion people, predominantly illiterate peasants, no infrastructure, no anything. And I'm sure they would have just done a fucking fantastic job building socialism under those conditions. That was really the big mistake that Mao and Deng and these Chinese leaders made, was not deferring to these fucking weird losers. Before the revolution, the life expectancy in China was like 35 years old. No, I know. But again, I'm sure the folks that just discovered this idea of markets, about China using capitalism, the capitalist mode of production, to develop their society, I'm sure they would have. I know they just heard about this like yesterday, but I'm sure they would have done a way better job under those conditions. The socialism button is often overlooked. It's amazing why no one does this. No one just presses the socialism button. It's funny because like 20 minutes ago I was talking about beefs and how I try to avoid them, and here I am. Look at this. Here I am. Even though I haven't named any names. But here I am, beefing. Here I am beefing already. They piled a bunch of papers on it, but luckily Xi just found the button. That's the amazing thing, is that President Xi is pressing the socialism button now, and they're like, no, not like that, though. Not like that. Don't do that. Is this an Italian restaurant in Chicago? Because we got some beef. See, Gary, this is spicy. I've been recovering from COVID. I've been very physically ill. I've been low energy, and now I'm here. I'm feeling a little bit better today. I got my Rain Total Body Fuel, 180 milligrams of naturally sourced caffeine in that bad boy. Zero sugar. How many calories? Barely any calories. It's like 5. 5 calories. 10 calories in that bad boy. Now I'm all pepped up and ready to beef. That's it. We're beefing. Ugh. Oh boy. Oh boy. The epitome of health. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now we're really getting crazy today. Really getting wild here. Anyway, let's I see some of this discourse happening on Twitter though, and I just I really get so tempted to start shit. I get so tempted. And then I'm like, no. I've seen so many fucking takes over the last week that I wanted to yell at people about. And I tell myself, no. And then I just tweet about spiders or something. It's I get a pulsating vein in my head just telling me, destroy them. Destroy them. But I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I've taken too much psychic damage from Twitter, I think. I've seen tweets you people wouldn't believe. Furry discourse off the Orion Belt. You know, with so many horrible things going on in the world, I think the main thing that we should be focusing on is Twitter. On Twitter is furries and cultural degeneracy. That's definitely I think that's the thing that we should be focusing on. I've stopped using Twitter for anything but sharing my dumbest ideas. All of them gone forever like tears in rain. It's really what you have to do. It's really the way to do it. Don't think you're out of the doghouse yet, though, Eric. Okay? It's way more fun to be silly than to yell at mean people. Oh, man. I really, that's the thing. That's why actually the discourse is good and the cursed takes Discord channel is good. Because then rather than beefing on Twitter or starting shit or starting discourse, you can just take it, bring it there. I bring it there. Twitter is just the worst place to have to try and do legitimate discourse, especially as well to go back to this individual that I'm referring to. When it seems like a lot of that person's takes are just designed to make people angry and enraged. The proud ignorance. That's what's really difficult about it, right? The proud display of ignorance. And it's just just takes that are just designed to make their online enemies upset and no actual understanding of any of these incidents or any of these historical context. And it just nothing. It's all just about trying to trigger people that you don't like. And when you get sucked into that, you help them. They don't want to learn. They don't want to be corrected. I've seen some enraging shit this week, though, that's for sure. I've seen some absolutely enraging shit on there. This shitty take was made possible by a grant from the Matt Iglesias Institute for Dumb Fuckery. Yeah. That guy certainly is a dumb fuck, isn't he? What a terrible place. What a terrible website. Like I've been saying before, it's like, being on Twitter has probably changed my whole life. Developing a platform on Twitter. And I'm still addicted to it, even though I'm trying to wean myself away from it. But if this website if it just disappeared, if one day I just woke up and Twitter was just gone, I think I've tweeted something to this effect as well. It's like the Ben Affleck and Good Will Hunting thing. One day I just hope to wake up and just have you not be there anymore. And that's kind of how I feel about Twitter. If one day I just woke up and opened my phone and it was just site is not loading and it was all gone, it was all erased, I'd have that good feeling, we'd be free. We'd be free. We'd be free of it. Being a dumbass on Twitter is probably the main reason I have podcast editing gigs. Well, yeah, I mean, me too, Eric. Like, the whole reason that I've been able over the last year or two to make a living here on Twitch is primarily because of Twitter. We even had our friend Gary the Snail showed up today from Twitter. Still, overall, is it good or bad? Probably bad. What if it transformed into Truth Social? Maybe we should all just get Truth Social accounts. What about that? What about if we got Truth Social accounts? See this? You open up Twitter and you see shit like this. Who is this guy? Newbie Howard. Author of Goodnight Loon. Parodies to Survive Trump and Goodnight Loon 2. The Bigliest Tantrum. Attorney, author, pianist, parodist. I cannot believe how many people on here call themselves Marxists. Marx was a brutal fascist who oppressed Jews, homosexuals, and countless others. Calling yourself Marxist does not make you woke or for justice. It marks you as a proponent of extremism as that of the GQP. That is not true, sir. That is not. He was literally just a philosopher who wrote down observations about the economy and never actually had any political power whatsoever. Why did we need to see this? Why does anyone need to see this? He banned music. What is GQP? I guess, Maxie, it's like the GOP, like the Republicans, but with the Q to make it now that they're bad, right? Marx could barely pay his rent. Who was he oppressing? He was oppressing Engels, who was his pal. That was the only person that Marx was oppressing because he was always asking Engels for a handout. Engels would have the only right to ever say anything like this about him. He was the only one that was being oppressed in this relationship. Think maybe he's confusing Marx with famous fascist Che. Well, or Castro. There was talk about another wave of fucking horrible, just completely ahistorical discourse. I need an Engels. Fortunately for me, you are all my Engels. Everyone in this chat is my personal Engels, which is why I love you. This guy has posting disease. Only 45 minutes ago, he made a post comparing people like me to Candace Owens for being an anti-Zionist Jew. Jesus. Jesus. Rob Drunken Bar. Hey, Chad, how about a couple bucks? It's pretty much the way it goes. That's pretty much how this relationship works. No, but there was that whole wave of Castro discourse as well. Listen up, y'all. Did you see that thread about the lady that like literally just looked up Castro on Wikipedia? Did you see that one? What a terrible place. What a terrible website. Why do we have to read this? Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Jesus. I was happy though that I was able to post this one.
Man.
This is the definitive answer about Castro. You don't ever have to listen to anyone else saying anything. When like multi-millionaire Hollywood screenwriters and directors are like, you have to listen to my lived experience. Thank you. Of my family that fled. There was so much bad Castro discourse. There was so much fucking horrible Castro discourse. You don't actually have to listen to those people that are like, will you listen to my lived experience? Cubans are tired, y'all. You know, this is the definitive word on Castro. You don't have to ever pay attention to any of those fuckers.
Fidel Castro was a great man. And everyone in the world recognizes that. We have said of Fidel Castro, and it's true, President Sekou Touré says that at any given moment, the best traditions of any people may be represented by all of them, a majority of them, a minority of them, or one of them. And if Fidel Castro is the only human being that represents humanity at its best, humanity will never be diminished one iota. Fidel Castro is a man of great stature and great comprehension. A little island like Cuba. He has himself leaped beyond this island of Cuba. He is known everywhere throughout the world, and he's respected everywhere throughout the world, except by capitalist pigs. Everywhere.
Hell yeah. Every time someone says my family fled Cuba, it's almost like when someone says we Brazilian to go visit my grandfather Hans in the wintertime. Yeah, of course. My favorite South American family, like Hans Mengele. Listen to Hans Mengele's lived experience, please. I posted the rest of this is such a great interview, though.
Fidel Castro was a great man. And everyone in the world recognized everywhere throughout the world except by capitalist pigs. Everywhere. America has no right to talk to Cuba. Cuba can teach America so many things. America says that it's one of the richest countries in the world and even demeans Cuba because it's one of the poorest. Yet the conditions of health of a child in Cuba is better than the conditions of health of any child in America. From the child, that child is born until it dies, it will have a doctor in its community that will monitor every movement it makes, free of charge. Because Fidel Castro understands that the most important thing in a society is the quantity and quality of the people and their rising level of consciousness, that they have, first of all, a responsibility to other Cubans before they have a responsibility to themselves. America is the exact opposite. Doctors to Africa than America and all of Western Europe together have sent. We're not even talking about freedom fighters. When I first went to Africa in the 1960s, I was shocked. Among all the liberation movements, PAIGC in Guinea-Bissau, Frelimo, MPLA, among all of them, I found Cuban combatants there, teaching them, even sometimes fighting and dying with them. Fidel Castro, we have to respect him. We are Pan-Africanists, and Fidel Castro is a Pan-Africanist of the highest order. When Angola was bleeding and the racist pigs in South Africa invaded Angola, Fidel Castro sent the sons and daughters of Africa, sent those Cubans there whose bloodstream has Africa tied to it, to go and defend Africa. To go and defend Africa's dignity. Fidel Castro. That's why the African community here, we instinctively love him.
Talking through all this.
TRRS Fidel slubbing to show support for Dear Fidel TRRS Fidel.
Thank you, Rudy Prospero, for the 19 months of Tier 1. Very much appreciated. Thank you. And again, if you want to slub to the channel to support Fidel or just to support socialism in general, you can do
use
so.
the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Bits for Fidel.
Thank you, Baizu Sepos. 400 friend coin. Very kind of you. Thank you very much.
When Fidel Castro came to America at the United Nations, he came to live at the Theresa Hotel in Harlem. No other president has ever done that. That's the honor he paid to us. And he paid us that honor because we instinctively supported him. We always instinctively support justice. And we know that Fidel Castro is undergoing a just struggle. A struggle for independence. A struggle to be not under the hegemony of American imperialism like all the other puppets in the Caribbean. When America says jump, they say how high. Fidel Castro is concerned with one thing, making sure that the national resources of his country serve the priority of the well-being of his people. Go to these other countries. They sell whatever they have. As a matter of fact, their leaders are sorry slavery is over. Tourism is properly controlled by the Cuban Communist Party. Properly controlled. I mean, they're making experiments with it, but they themselves are in the position of controlling, and has within a limited aspect, because at this point it's only experiment. Of course, U.S. capitalism is hoping that through this will happen, but it's just a fight always. And you go into a ring, you fight, you're convinced you will win, the enemy is convinced they will win. We will see. But I think the attack here, the political attack, is what I want to speak of. Under this political attack, it appears that because the people in Cuba are poor and they have nothing to eat, that they'll be disgruntled. Vietnam defeated America.
This is so good.
Defeated America. And I was in North Vietnam. I had one of the greatest honors of my life. I had lunch with Ho Chi Minh in North Vietnam when American planes were bombing North Vietnam. One of the greatest honors of my life. And the Vietnamese who fought America, they fought America, and every Vietnamese soldier had not one bowl of rice a day. That was their ration. And they whooped America. What does not having food have to do with a fight when you're down? Matter of fact, the poorer you are, the more determined you are in the struggle. So if America keeps taking it because now the Cubans will only have one bowl of rice, the Vietnamese defeated them on one bowl of rice. The Cubans defeat them on half a bowl.
Oh, man. That's so great. That's so fucking great. And right now, is Cuba suffering right now? There was that explosion. Of course, it's so difficult for Cuba to import fuel because of the fucking barbaric, medieval, multi-decade-long siege conditions that they've been under. They're losing fuel. And of course, principled anti-imperialist Brandon, who a bunch of people that built platforms as like leftists are now fucking worshiping. Principled anti-imperialist Brandon is not fucking lifting a goddamn finger to help them. They're not lifting the blockade. They're not lifting the sanctions. They're not even talking about normalizing relations with them. While evil Russia, evil, scary Putin just sent a shipload of fuel to the Cuban people. But he says he wishes them the best. I'm sure he does. Yeah. And who else is coming to their evil socialist Maduro? The Chad AMLO and the Virgin Brandon. This is right. This is right. It was the one part of Obama's legacy that wasn't completely fucked, Dave. And it was, I would say, two parts in terms of Obama's foreign policy was Cuba and Iran. The Iran deal and normalizing relationships with Cuba. And that was one thing when Brandon was getting elected. It's like, okay, well, Brandon is going to be an imperialist, obviously, but perhaps he'll just go back to those two things. Perhaps he'll at least just go back to the Obama-era policy on these two places, which has not happened. And they're literally still sanctioning Iran and blaming Iran for violating the Iran deal that America arbitrarily walked away from. And now they're sitting there making fucking demands on Iran. You need to do this and this and this if you want to get back into compliance with the deal. What possible fucking reason would they have to do that? What possible reason would they have? And you have like Anthony Blinken being like, they're violating the deal that our government arbitrarily walked away from. He might lose Florida by 5% instead of 3% in 2024 if he shows any support to Cuba. And again, Obama, for all his horrible faults that he had, of which there were very many, won Florida, and still normalized relationships with Cuba. Someone should sanction the USA. Unfortunately, no one else has that ability. No one else has that global economic power to sanction them, despite all the words we hear about, rival imperialist powers and how it's showdowns between rival imperialist powers in Ukraine or in Taiwan. Lo and behold, none of these other imperialist powers have the fucking ability to control the global financial system in this way. It's almost like there's really only one imperialist power. And trying to like dilute that or pretend that that's not the case is actually not accurate at all. The USA lost its war with both Afghanistan and Iraq, and the US is still stealing Afghans' money like they're at war. And again, even noted anti-imperialist forever war ender Brandon is doing this. Starving Afghanistan after committing a fucking atrocious war crime on the way out the fucking door. Still starving the country with their money, as their money. Not giving them their money. Just as the money that Iran got as part of the Iran deal was literally their money. It's literally just giving them access to their own fucking money. Yeah, and so this is a good point, Baizu. Turn on the local news. They're saying how they're having a humanitarian crisis since we left, implying our leaving caused the disaster and not the sanctions. Just completely removing that from the equation. It's all the Taliban now. We left Afghanistan, and now that the Taliban's in charge, there's this big humanitarian crisis, disaster. Completely just not mentioning at all the fact that they've stolen hundreds of billions of dollars in wealth from this country. Also, and yeah, the UK stole Venezuela's money. You got the US just looting Syria as well. Sickening country. And people are still trying to praise Brandon's foreign policy. The Ryan Goober was an account that I followed a couple years ago and I thought was useful, but I had to mute over the last couple of weeks and months, especially once the Ukraine thing kicked off, because it just got to be fucking unbearable. This is the state of the Western leftist thought leaders. Who says airstrikes are still virtually at a standstill compared to Biden's two predecessors. In Yemen, militant deaths per year, Somalia. So using this idea that like drone strikes are down. It says, every time I point this out, the main reaction is astonishment. Both Biden's people and the press are falling down at communicating a real basic fact about the world. The forever war. This is truly to me is a wild take. The forever war has been cut back by like 95%, and Biden has gotten no credit for it. Which again, it's like so. First of all, you would think, like, again, I'm not a big economics genius or anything. You would think that with the Afghanistan war drawing to a close and pulling the U.S. military out of Afghanistan and this apparent stop in this like completely stopping drone strikes, you would think that that might have some kind of effect on the U.S. military budget, which has gone up. Somehow, despite ending these wars and ending the forever war, cutting it back by 95%, still the military budget has gone up. And even with the military budget going up, you still have to do all these different bills in order to get people health care for like Havana syndrome and like exposure to burn pits and all this shit. While still starving Afghanistan, starving millions and millions of people in Afghanistan through sanctions. While still decimating Cuba, Iran, North Korea with sanctions. While still provoking proxy wars in Ukraine and funneling hundreds of billions of dollars worth of arms to God knows who in Ukraine. While still deliberately constantly provoking China and trying to establish another colonial foothold there to further encircle China and trying to provoke another proxy war there. And this is apparently cutting back the forever war by 95%. Yeah, we just exported the drone strikes to a proxy country. The forever war is really slowed down as evidenced by the billions of dollars of weapons we sent to Ukraine. Well, Ryan Cooper has an answer to that as well. Like, you're trying to be taken seriously as like a public journalist, intellectual, and you're talking about tankies. Boy, do people get mad when you point this out, especially tankies and America firsters. There we go. This is the political analysis that I really crave. This is the leftist political analysis that I love. The military aid sent to Ukraine is not even part of the military budget. No, of course it's outside of that. Of course it's outside of that. They've both got exactly the same take, too. Biden somehow started the war in Ukraine.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Tankies first.
Thank you, Red Wizard, for the 11 months of Tier 1. Yeah, the tankies who do not want to send Javelin missiles to Ukraine, right? The tankies who are against the United States promoting a proxy war.
To talk you through all this.
Tanky.
Thank you, Red Wizard, for the 11 months of Tier 1. And thank you, Earth to Skelly, for the 6 months of Tier 1. Thank you, Earth to Skelly. The infamous tanky position of not wanting to have proxy wars in Eastern Europe or in the South China Sea. And again, this ignoring the role that America and Canada and the West has played in provoking this war, and just doing so in this kind of disingenuous, trollish language. Biden somehow started the war in Ukraine, and it gets like, we don't need to fucking litigate all this again. But like, it just completely ignoring the role that both Canada and the United States and NATO and Western Europe played in creating this conflict. But have you considered Putin bad? Had some guy in chat last night claiming Russia would totally separate into 7 shitty countries after Putler died. That's right. That's the classic. It's going to make everything better for everyone. Just separate Russia into 7 different ethno-states. Everything's going to go. That's going to go really well for everybody. The pro-war arguments never change. You just love dictators. That's why you hate war. Exactly. He says, not sure which is funnier, the nominal lefties standing for a right-wing dictatorship or the Trumpers regurgitating Chomskyan criticisms of NATO. And notice as well that he hasn't responded to any of this. Like, apparently, it's too ludicrous to even respond to. All you have to say is Tanky's bad. right? You don't actually have to respond to any of the criticism. It's just like, well, the tankies are mad at me again, and that's your analysis of this. It's almost like there's some kind of coalition. It's almost like some kind of horseshoe theory. Like these far right guys and these far left guys all agree. The tankies are mad. I must be doing something right. It's probably his entire analysis. No, of course it is. It says, also occurs to me that many people who predicted that Biden was going to turn the Dems into Bush-era neocons have failed to grapple with this. Obama actually did carry out a continuation of the Bush war on terror and security state. Logical to assume that Biden, who unlike Obama supported the Iraq invasion, would do the same. It just hasn't panned out that way. And again, completely overlooking all the ways that rather than because they've realized that drone strikes is bad PR and just outsourcing their drone strikes to other individuals that are not officially allied with the United States. It reminds me of when a politician says, well, both the right and the left are mad at me, so I must be doing something right. Yeah. Yeah. I was reading a CIA document last week about how the world would respond if they found out how America has been exporting terrorism across the globe. Then people might get upset about that if they learn some of those things. And apparently that doesn't count as being part of foreign policy. Arming and funding proxies to carry out who are extremists, by the way. Religious extremists or right-wing extremists. Arming and funding them to carry out civil wars to destabilize governments you don't like. That, I guess, doesn't count. That doesn't count as carrying out this, like, imperialist security state policy. I love that horseshoe theory is always brought up by someone just assuming everyone telling them they're wrong is some sort of phenomenon. That's right. That's always evidence that I'm actually correct. Evidence everyone is mad at me and everyone's making fun of me. That's evidence that I'm actually correct. And again, what is the United States doing to Afghanistan right now? Meanwhile, this is what anti-imperialist, non-forever war leader Brandon is overseeing in Afghanistan, and he's just not getting any credit. Just not getting any credit whatsoever. While starving this entire country. It turns out that a bunch of fundamentalist Islamist hillbillies can't run Afghanistan. Well, Gary, it's like, again, we don't need to support the Taliban, but the reality is the Taliban did defeat the United States military. They are the actual lawful government of Afghanistan, and the reason that this is happening is not because of the Taliban mismanagement, but because the United States is still sanctioning the country and holding hundreds of billions of dollars that should be going to Afghanistan government to actually like provide food to people, and are deliberately creating this situation. So we don't need to support the Taliban, but we should also acknowledge the role that America is playing in creating this exact situation. Didn't Trump in 2019 remove the law that the CIA has to report their drone strikes? So to be fair, we don't know how many drone strikes are done or how many that used to be done by the Pentagon is now done through the CIA. Yeah. Just the idea that that Brandon has ended these forever wars by 95% is just fucking patently absurd. It's just ridiculous. And also, it's like, part of pulling out of Afghanistan and part of ending these drone strikes is part of a pivot. Biden, of course, was a centerpiece of the pivot to Asia in like 2011 under Obama, and they're pivoting to a new Cold War right now, which has the potential to escalate into global conflict. If they were actually ending the forever wars, perhaps the military budget, like I was saying, would be going down and not up. Didn't we bomb Somalia last night again? I don't know. Is that true? Maybe. Whoops. Yeah, one day ago. What was this? U.S. bombs Somalia for the third time this summer. I'm sure the people that are getting bombed, though, are really thrilled by Brandon's ending of the forever wars and cutting back the forever wars by 95%, apparently. I'm sure the families that are the victims of these drone strikes are thrilled by this. We know it's going up because our enemies are getting stronger, which is why it's called a defense budget. Well, boy, is there egg on my face. Brandon's really done them a solid, Jack. That's right. There we go. Yeah, I'm sure they're very thrilled. I'm sure they're very thrilled by this development of noted anti-imperialist Brandon. Joe Brandon. These are the takes that I've been forced to look at when I open my phone. I open Twitter on my phone and I see this. I had no idea about Somalia. Why are we even there? Great question. Great question. Well, of course, you're there. America is there to fight, Islamic militants, which were enabled and empowered and armed and funded by the United States military state in the first place. Just as the United States military state is arming and funding and training right-wing militants and overt fascist groups in Ukraine right now that they'll also eventually have to end up fighting. It's a good grift if you get it. It's a good work if you can get it. Endless blowback. Yeah, of course, Africa doesn't count as well when you talk about the forever wars and everything. At least with all the blowback, we have an excuse to make more guns to do more blowback. That's the thing. It's a perfect grift. It creates this never-ending feedback loop, which, lo and behold, winds up with an unlimited flow of cash from the money printing machine in the United States government right in the pockets of the defense contractors and their shareholders. Just in the same way that every single domestic problem, whether it's climate, whether it's housing, whether it's, addiction, just ends up being an excuse to funnel money into the hands of cops. It's the exact same phenomenon. That's the only solution. It's the only solution you can ever have. It's the only solution you can ever explore. Inspired by the CIA, so instead of killing the ant beds in my front yard, I'm going to kick the piles around to cover the whole yard. And then you just get a big, massive fucking flamethrower and use that on the whole thing. I like the part where the CIA brought bags of cash to fund warlords so they would fight religious militants people actually liked and they lost very quickly. Also, literally supplying them with like children who were abused as well, which was an actual phenomenon. Trafficking children to these like fucking warlords along with weapons and funds. Crazy how that didn't work. Crazy how that didn't work out as a strategy. How do we all produce 100,000 overdose deaths, you say? Well, 100,000 cops should do it. There we go. It's the only solution. It's the only solution we can ever have. It's not good, folks. Things are not going well. It's just amazing to me that to be like a fucking like a leftist, like I'm a leftist and trying to raise support for fucking Brandon's foreign policy of all things. Why the yellow in the profile pic? Have you considered changing it to black? No, I have not. I have not considered that. I have not, but thank you for your input. Oddly specific critique, I know. Kind of strange. Kind of strange there. Okay. Things are not going well, but I'm glad there are communities like yours in Left Flank, etc., not to feel alone in this hellscape. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Earth to Skelly. Again, it's been beneficial for me as well. It's been beneficial to me as well. I mean, especially when like the whole Ukraine thing kicked off. I've talked about this a couple times, but the way how oppressive the sort of like propaganda machine got cranked up to like 12 and how oppressive that felt. Being able to have this community and have a sense of like salvation, a sense of being able to like shield ourselves from that was like incredibly psychically important to me, and I think other people in the community.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Hey, thanks, Dan. Dan Simpson, thanks for the raid. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yes, surface tension. Famous red and yellow colors. Famous red and yellow libertarian colors. If only there were some other flags that connotated, socialism and anti-imperialism that used the red and yellow color scheme. Unfortunately, that just never existed. And this is what the shirt says. But then it's red and black, which is also libertarian. It's kind of what I'm wondering here. How was your stream today, Dan? And Dan Raiders? Any good? Red and black is ANCOM, which is what I am down with. The yellow just freaks me out. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, surface tension. Thank you for your input. I will be sure to take that under advisement, and I'll get back to you. How about that? How about that? Rob, would have telling the court I was a communist to get out of jury duty been a good move? I don't know if that would have worked. I think it probably couldn't hurt. You know? Couldn't have hurt. Wild stuff. Wild stuff going on in the chat today. I'm wondering how much longer I want to stick around today. I'm not totally sure. I do feel a little bit better, but I'm also like, I do kind of have to ease back into things. I don't think I can stick around that much longer. There is this whole there's a whole breakthrough news video with VJ that I would like to watch, but God,
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness. Gen X Bushy.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Gen X Bushy. I very, very much appreciated the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Gen X Bushy. By the way, just tried oat milk and Diet Coke and it was the bomb. Wow. Oat milk and Diet Coke. That is wild. Oat Coke. And thank you, Comrade Social Distancing, for the 2 gifted subs as well. Very, very kind of you. Thank you very much to you both. I don't think we can really relitigate the Coke milk discourse. We already went over this, although this, I guess, is the big thing that brings in the subs. This is the main thing that people have subscribed for today is Coke, milk Coke discourse. Perhaps that's just what should be the whole channel should just be about that. The milk Coke revolution continues. What's the like mix? Is it half? I feel like it would need to be maybe more Coke than milk, personally. 1-to-1. Wow. I would much rather have struggle sessions of milk, Coke, pimento cheese, things of that nature, versus whatever debate channels are talking about. I did see a very funny comment from you in the Discord to say Outrun, where it's like I was looking at something else and the message just popped up, and I saw some pimento cheese discourse going on with Outrun just saying, just be cheese. So for some reason, I thought that was so funny. Don't be afraid to just be cheese. I do like a splash type you would do for iced coffee. So that makes more sense to me. That makes way more sense to me. Hi, Marina, on Left Hand Stew's account. Welcome. Welcome to Canada. Marina flew into Canada and brought communism to Canada instantly. And we love to see it. We absolutely love it. Instantly, effortlessly. Just as effortlessly as your dad lifted heavy objects and tires and whatnot. Just flung them through the air. Is Marina making Stu wear the hat? I would also like an answer on that. Just 1 second. I'm gonna put on some music. I gotta go fairly soon, folks. I'll try when I come back next week. I'll try to start doing some longer streams. I think still, even though I'm feeling a bit better today, around 2 hours is about the max that I can do. Have y'all ever had a Colorado Bulldog that's pretty much milk Coke? Is it pretty much milk Coke, or is that what it is? I'm not going to go right away. I'm still going to stick around for another little bit longer. Gary the Snow, thanks for hanging out. I'm glad I found the channel. And I encourage you to subscribe, Gary, as well. I'm happy you found the channel too. And I would encourage anyone that's just joining us today to both subscribe if you can and join the Discord server. Gary, you haven't even heard about the whole friendship triangle system. Outrun, I'm not engaging in any of that. You were right. Predator 2 slaps, and I like it better than 1. Yeah, I saw your comment to that effect. I think it's an amazing sequel. It's a worthy follow-up. I think the cartoonish Colombian and Jamaican drug gangs, that knocks off a star rating for me from Predator 2. Still highly enjoyable, though. Very good flick. And I love the Predator format in a more of like a hard-boiled sort of neo-noir detective story. I think that's really cool. That's a really interesting creative direction to go with that series. Yeah, but so again, Gary or whoever else, I would encourage. We don't need to go into the whole pitch about the friendship triangle. I would encourage, though, everyone that's just watching the channel for the first time to click on the link there under the Clout Must Flow command in the chat, which should give you a little idea about, what the community is all about. I don't even need to mention it. The gangs do take it down a notch, but yes to everything else. Glover is so good in it. Yeah, he's really great. Like you were saying, Bill Paxton, also fucking great. I love how Bill Paxton gets introduced, like teaching the golf swing in like this sweaty, like crowded police headquarters. Paxton's just having a great time. So great. The whole movie, I know, it's so sweaty. It's even sweatier than the first film. Somehow. Before you go, you should see this. What is this now? Oh, actually, I did see this. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of the Pigloo phenomenon. But I support the invasive wild pigs. They did nothing wrong. Netflix and chill at the Pigloo, absolutely. I feel like Paxton's performance is a clear prelude to his performance in True Lies. That's true. There's definitely a through line there. Bill Paxton is so great. God damn. God damn. So, I'm going to stick around for another couple minutes, folks. I got to make one final plea for subs, though. And remember, I'm sick, and I almost died. Remember that. Remember that. When I make a plea for subs, remember that I almost died this week, and yet I'm here still trying to provide entertaining and informative content for each and every one of you. So if you do want to support this stream and the channel, you can do so by subscribing for $5 per month. Okay, Surface Tension, thanks for joining us today. Real pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for your contributions in the chat. We'll catch you next time. Take care. So you can subscribe to this channel for $5 per month. You can use your Amazon Prime subscription to subscribe completely free of charge. Completely free of charge. You can gift subscriptions. You can gift friend coin. Chad is still not respecting STFU Friday. Seriously. And all of these things support this channel and supports the stream, and I really appreciate it a lot. And if you do subscribe to the channel or give subs, we are friends. We're officially friends. And I almost died of COVID. Have you considered you're supposed to be taking it easy after COVID, but since you're not doing that, you're not like Lennon and not listening to the professionals on the matter. Oh boy. All kinds of weirdos and coming to hang out with us today. We love the weirdos. We love our weirdos and lurkers. We love them. COVID almost killed me. That's right, Earth to Skelly. And I'm doing this guilt trip plea and it's just leading to nothing as well. Rob, you know I get very sentimental from time to time, and I'm just so happy you survived COVID, and best wishes for your family. Yeah, and I am laying it on a little thick, obviously. Was very, very unpleasant. I got Surface Tension is DMing me now. Surface Tension says, lame whack that I can't have a civil conversation in your chat without triggering your sensibilities, and then change it to black and red. Jesus. Jesus. Surface Tension. Unbelievable. Gosh, I have hat head. For someone named Surface Tension, they've sure made ripples in chat today. Oh my goodness. And another DM now from Surface Tension. That's how, and then again repeated in caps, that's how we build solidarity, by banning people we don't agree with. I'm happy you agree with me, Surface Tension. Thank you. Thank you for supporting my decision on this endeavor. We can only build socialism by allowing weird dipshits to say whatever they want in the chat and try and starting arguments with people despite no one knowing who they are. That's how we build socialism. I don't want to have a solidarity with a Lenin disrespecter. No, I do not. No, I do not. Zero interest in that. Socialism only flows through TRRS chat. That's right. That is correct. Mentionix out. If you don't accept a stranger who's speaking nonsense, we can't actually have communism. And Rob, it really is your fault. That's right. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry for the lack of socialism. Oh, I blocked them, Lodane. They're gone now. They won't be bothering any of us anymore. Bless you for open DMs. That's content. He does this for us, chat. That's right, Ghost. And normally it's not really that much of a problem on here, anyways. But every now and then we do get it. We get the odd bozo, don't we? We do get the odd bozo in here. It's that meme with the soldier protecting the kid from the knives, but surface tension is the knives, and Rob is the soldier, and we're the kid. That's right. That's pretty much how this dynamic works. That is exactly how this dynamic works. Gary's new in the community. He's already picking up on this. Miss me with that weak medicine. You know, I had like a crazy nostalgia trigger the other day. That just you saying the word medicine just reminded me of it. But for some reason I was reminded of the early 90s film Medicine Man, starring Sean Connery, which I have never seen. I've never seen this movie, but I've seen the trailer probably dozens of times because I think their trailer was like in front of a number of prominent early 90s films. And I saw a poster for Medicine Man starring Sean Connery, and it triggered this like nostalgia response. And it was directed by John McTiernan, which I didn't direct. One of the greatest to ever do it, John McTiernan. This was in front of some VHS that I watched repeatedly.
Robert Campbell has gone deep into the Amazon rainforest, into a world of astonishing beauty. A land of ancient mystery, where he's made an amazing discovery.
What is it you think you've got?
I don't think. I know.
You found the cure for cancer, and all you can say is, I know?
There's just one problem.
You did what?
I've lost it! Haven't you ever lost anything? Your purse, your car keys? Well, it's rather like that. Now you have it, now you don't.
A miracle without
You lost it.
It's only a miracle.
Now they must rediscover that miracle.
Yeah, it's Lorraine Bracco.
None of the new samples work.
Before it all disappears.
We need help.
Don't you presume to tell me how to follow up. Now you move your road through here, and we've lost it.
The new samples.
Hollywood Pictures presents Sean Connery and Lorraine Bracco in a John McTiernan film, Medicine Man. He turned his back on civilization.
Now I understand why you don't want to leave.
Only to discover he had the power to save it.
They obviously worship you.
It's the other way around.
Medicine Man, Sean Connery. I've never seen this film, but I've seen that trailer so many times. I remember the thing with the car keys. You've ever lost your car keys? Medicine Man. That's right. I don't know what made me think about that, but I was reminded of Medicine Man starring Sean Connery the other day. You like that, Sam? Okay, I'm not, once again displaying my master of impressions. I have this on audio only, and it sounds like Rob landed Sean Connery as a guest. Ugh. What do we think about that? Everyone loves all my various impressions. Everyone loves this. Okay, so I'm gonna go soon, folks. Do we hear 20 subs? Can someone just put me out of my misery here? I would like to be able to go soon. Can someone just take pity on me? I tried to do the whole guilt trip thing, talking about COVID. You know, obviously no one cares. Obviously, no one cares that I struggled through this devastating illness, which I'm still recovering from.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Oh, good Ghost. That's very kind of you, Ghost.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Oh my goodness gracious. Comrade Social Distancing, thank you for another gifted sub.
Of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness, folks.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk.
Pity really does work. It really does. And in order to survive on Twitch, you have to have zero shame. You have to have zero shame, as I obviously do not have any. But seriously, thank you so much to Comrade Social Distancing again, for another gifted sub and all the support. Thank you very, very much, Ghost, for the 5 gifted subs. That was very, very kind of you, Ghost. Part Ian for the 4 subs. Thank you, Part Ian. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Red Scary, for the 5 gifted subs and taking pity on me and everything you do for this community. The true valued community, the true VIP of this community, Red Scary. Thank you, Red Scary. And thank you, Marina/Left Hand Stew, for the 4 gifted subs. Very, very, very kind of all of you. I really, really appreciate it. Did we ever do the Q2 Cloud Awards? No, we did not. Lodane pushed me to do it, and then I completely forgot. How about Monday? Okay, I'll be back Monday. I'll try to give it a little bit longer time on Monday. We can do the Q2 Clout Awards on Monday. Thank you again, everyone, for taking pity on me. And again, if you're watching this and you're like, this is just disgusting. This is just shameless. Manipulating people. And the answer is yes, I know. But that's you have to do that. If you're on this platform, you just have to do it. You have to have zero shame and zero capacity for embarrassment. At least I'm not doing any... You haven't even... If you're tuning in for the first time, you haven't even seen the weird dancing. Sometimes I just weird... It's like I'm basically just like dancing for money, like the Tina Turner song. So I haven't even had to do that for a while. I'm your private dancer. Dancer for money. That's me. That's what I do. We're going to raid TYT because Bleep Blomp Bland is hosting Galaxy Brain. We want to support her, so she'll continue to convert normies. Be nice to the normies if you can. So we will do that. We will do that. You know what song I've been listening to so much? Since
we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Amazing Tina Turner reference. Thank you, Sunny Sola, and thank you for the 100 friend coin. Duet from Connery and Turner. There we go. No, but since Olivia Newton-John passed away the other day, and I mentioned Physical, and I was singing Physical on the stream, and God, that song Physical by Olivia Newton-John is so fucking good. Like I knew it before, but I don't think I had taken the time to I hadn't really listened to it in a long time, and definitely not like on headphones. And Physical by Olivia Newton-John is just such a fucking great song. I'd like to sub, but I'm in law school, and not in the my dad is a lawyer kind of way, but in the I want to protect unions kind of way. You'll have to wait till my prime sub comes back in September. September. Well, that's no problem, Gary. No problem. I'm glad that you stopped by today. And again, I would recommend everyone join the Discord server, which you can do by clicking on the link in the Discord. I would also recommend purchasing merch. If you want to buy TRRS merch, you can do so.
Good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Using the link, and the merch is on sale right now. Some really great merch. And Garden Variety Cat Lady, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Gary the Snail. Thank you, Garden Variety Cat Lady. Very, very kind of you. It's one of those songs that's like, why does everyone cover this? And you listen to the original, and it's because it's a fucking bop. And to be frank, and I don't often talk about this kind of stuff, but one of the best songs ever about fucking. Which is just, you can't get around that. It really is. And it's just such a great song. Okay, so everyone's got the copy pasta loaded up. Thanks again for everyone hanging out with this week. I appreciate it a lot. I really appreciate people coming through and getting to the sub goal. I was not expecting that, frankly. And that was very, very kind and generous of all of you that supported the show today and this week. Thank you very, very, very much. I will be back on Monday. I'm not totally sure when. Again, for the next couple of weeks, it's a little bit touch and go with the scheduling because of my kid and childcare and all that stuff. But I will be back on Monday at some point. When my kid is back in school, I will be back on a more regular schedule, which usually means starting at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 a.m. Pyongyang time, of course. Oh shit, I didn't even do the whole goodbye thing. Do I have time for this? Fuck. Didn't do it. I only have a few seconds left to get this done here. Goodbye.